Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering the 5 biggest myths about ghostwriting books. There are lots of misconceptions about working with a ghostwriter, and I want to clear them up for you. By the end of this video, you will learn why ghostwriting is not only for the rich and famous, how collaborative the process is, and why book sales are not a good measure of a book's impact. And stay tuned until the end of the video for a free resource I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. Myth number 1 about book ghostwriting is that it's only for the rich and famous. It's easy to think that when considering A, how expensive it is to work with a ghostwriter, and B, that a lot of the people who utilize ghostwriting services are people who are more prominent. Those are people who have a story to tell and have a message and have a platform and have goals for the book that they want to take their company to new heights or build their platform and become a thought leader, become an expert on a specific topic, or build their legacy. You know, these are people who are more inclined to think about those things. But so many of the people that I ghostwrite for aren't famous. They aren't nationally renowned yet. Maybe they will be someday. You know, they're people who see what the bigger picture is and are trying to take that step for themselves. I think it's awesome when you're working with somebody who's a little bit under the radar, because ultimately the kinds of stories that they are telling are so similar to the big celebrity, but the big celebrity might be more inclined to hold back and not really tell the full truth. I love when people are giving their best to the collaboration and going there and going deep and telling these important stories. No matter how big your platform is, no matter how big your goals are for the book, it's important to tell the best possible story. And that's true whether you're famous or whether you're not. You know, I love working with non-famous people and helping them build their platform. I think it's great to be able to take that next step. And a lot of the people who utilize ghostwriting services are looking to take the next step, and not just people who are already at a big step and trying to go even bigger. Myth number 2, that if you work with a ghostwriter, it'll feel like you didn't really write the book. I don't agree with that at all. I think that the projects I work on as a ghostwriter are super collaborative. I'm meeting every week with my clients, with the authors I work with. I am talking through every single step in this journey. We're exploring the stories and the messages they want to share. They are in the driver's seat of this process. So it's awesome to be able to collaborate on a deep level. You hear these horror stories or disappointing stories about celebrities who might meet for an afternoon with their ghostwriter and talk in a hotel room for 3 hours and then never talk to them again. And then a book gets finished. I'm not interested in working that way. You know, this needs to be a collaborative process, because as the journey continues, this story evolves, but the nuances and understandings of the story evolve too. You know, so the idea that you somehow would feel like this book is less than because you didn't type it all up yourself, You know, I think about going to a movie and seeing the credits at the end. Think of the hundreds of people that are credited, that are listed. You think the director did everything themselves and acted in it and did this and this and this and did the illustrations and cleared the music? No, there's all these different people working behind the scenes. And I think ghostwriting similarly. You know, I think working with the ghostwriter allows you to bring out the best possible story, and it shows your commitment to doing this the right way. So I don't think at all that it's a less than thing. I think it's an added plus, it's a benefit. Myth number 3, it's not collaborative. Again, I think that working with a ghostwriter can be a super collaborative process, a transformative process. This isn't about just sending somebody off to write your story. This is about meeting regularly. It's about talking through. It's about supplying copy. It's about bringing your best to this process. Book projects fail and book collaborations fail because the authors aren't collaborative enough. As a book ghostwriter, I find it frustrating when I'm wanting more, when I'm interested in pursuing more and the author I work with is not providing it. You know, they don't want to talk about it, or, you know, they don't have the time. I always feel like the project suffers. So I think ultimately, the more you put in as the author, the more collaborative the process is going to feel. and the more ownership that you're going to feel as a result, that you understand where this is going and you're in lockstep working with your ghostwriter. Myth number 4, the more money you spend, the better the outcome. This is a nuanced topic about cost. Ultimately, more experienced ghostwriters are going to cost more money. So if you want to work with a high quality ghostwriter, it's going to be more expensive. But that doesn't necessarily dictate the outcome. The outcome is dependent on the work that you put in, the right ghostwriter being attached to the project, you feeling empowered to move forward with this story. It's a journey, and it's not just hiring somebody and then expecting a result. It's really being a part of the process and helping it along. But doing your homework, talking to your ghostwriter before hiring them, making sure that they're a right fit for you is going to help. Transparency around the process is going to help. You don't want to start working with a ghostwriter that you never engage with. That's a good way to, have a project that isn't successful. But ultimately, I would say that there's a correlation between cost and quality. But it's really, from there, you can get ripped off if you hire somebody who's not the right fit. So you need to make sure that they're the right fit. But I would say you have a higher likelihood of success if you work with a more experienced ghostwriter, but they can cost more money. So it's really about finding the right fit for you and recognizing that you're paying for quality. If you try to cut corners and cut costs, you could end up with a ghostwriter who's not talented, who's not good at telling the kinds of story that you're trying to tell, who plagiarizes or cuts corners themselves. So you could find yourself in trouble if you try to cut costs on the ghostwriting side. Myth number 5, I need to sell a lot of books to have an impact. It's great to be able to sell books. When you're an author, you go to Amazon Author Central every Friday and look at the updated list and see how many books you sold in a recent week. We've all been there. If you've published a book, you've done it too. But ultimately, the biggest impact that you can have with your book is on a one-to-one level. This isn't about selling a bunch of copies like it used to. Most books don't sell a lot of copies. Most books sell fewer than 500 copies. So this isn't about just selling a bunch of copies, but it's about putting your book in the hands of these specific people who need to read it, that people can learn from it and take action from it and feel empowered in their life because of it. That's what this journey is all about. If you share the right message and connect it to the right audience, you could generate 6- and 7-figure revenue. You could find coaching clients that pay you tens of thousands of dollars, but they won't know you exist if you don't finish the book and if you don't write the right book. So it's really about aligning all these things together, but think beyond book sales. When I work with clients and they're only focused on book sales to make money back, they typically don't, because they don't have any underlying sales funnel and platform to sell from. They just have book sales. But if you can focus on speaking engagements, on coaching services, on courses, on other things, you can have tons and tons of success. So make sure to think beyond book sales. Working with a book ghostwriter shows your commitment. You're committed to sharing the best, most powerful story. But even with that commitment, even with that enthusiasm, so many things can go wrong. Which is why I definitely think you should watch the next video. I'll link to it on the screen. It's called 7 Critical Steps to Working with a Ghostwriter. In that video, I cover the mindset needed to have a successful collaboration and how to bring your very best in order to ensure that your book is as strong as possible. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.